Once upon a time, there were these two people, husband and wife. They didn't have much money, and they were looking for a child. Eventually, they got a child, a daughter, a beautiful daughter. Her name was Ugomma. They called her their daughter Ugomma. You know, Ugo means ego, Mma means beauty. So you can put the two together and see why the girl is sought after by everybody. Very beautiful. Then they raised this child to be very obedient, very respectful, and very kind. The girl was too kind. They raised her to care for both human beings and animals. Because of her beauty and her manner, behavior, and everything, so many men were contesting that that they will get her, lure her to their houses. But they couldn't, because she was well brought up. She had been taught not to follow any man home. She had been taught not to accept gifts from men. With all the gifts they were bearing, she refused to accept any gift. The tortoise heard about this virtuous girl in the village. And from his town very far away, he crossed 7 rivers and 7 villages to come to this town. When he reached Ugomma's town, he went into the forest close to the river and built a hut for himself. Made a statue that looked like an older tortoise, called that one his father. He stayed in the hut. Every day he would creep out, watching Ugomma, knowing exactly when she went to the river to fetch water. He targeted the girl until he knew precisely when to expect the girl to be at the river. So one day, he went down to the river, stuck one of his legs inside the mud, close to a root, and put the leg under the root of a tree. Ugomma came down and had him in distress, crying that he was stuck. He didn't know what to do. Can somebody help him? Ugomma rushed to help him. Got there, one of the legs was inside the mud. Tortoise showed Ugomma the root instead of his leg and told Ugomma to pull him out. While Ugomma was pulling, he had withdrawn his legs and put inside his shell. And he kept saying to Ugomma, "Sekwapia, sekwapo. Dokwapia, dokwapo. Opamo, pamo, pamo," meaning break it, mangle it, do whatever you can to bring it out, and then Ugomma will pull and he will go, "My leg, my leg, my leg. Opamo, pamo, pamo." Ugomma kept pulling. After some time, when he pulled the last one, Tortoise brought out his leg again and pretended that Ugomma pulled it out and screamed, "Oh, you've broken my leg. You've broken my leg." She started crying that he couldn't walk. Ugomma brought a stick for him to use. He said no, he wanted Ugomma to hold him and help him back to his house, that his father would take care of him. Ugomma decided to go with him and went a little while thinking it was just close by. But it wasn't close by. Then he said to Tortoise, "No, it looks like your house is far. I haven't fetched the water yet. I have to go fetch water for my parents. Can you go from here?" Tortoise said no, he couldn't. It was so painful for him to walk alone. Ugomma turned around, tried to go back to the river. Tortoise started singing for her. "Isolunta luo ben na mofo. Anwusholonge kwaya. Ikwolisim kwaya. Ikwolokpam kwaya. Mobom bekunwanega. Onyodenegam kwaya. Yodenegam kwaya." And he was simply saying, "If you don't follow me reach my father's house, I will die for you here. And you will take my head and you will take my leg, because there's no way I could walk back home." Ugomma didn't know what to do. She went back to help me. He said, okay, I'll help you for just a little while and I will go back. She helped, and meanwhile, Tortoise went far deep into the forest to build his house, so it's far from the river. He kept doing that. Each time she wanted to go back, he would sing. She would run back, full of kindness, didn't want to disappoint this tortoise, didn't want the tortoise to be in pain. He followed until he reached the tortoise house and saw what looked like the father. She felt okay. She stayed there. And then she wanted to go back, but it was dark. And that was the time the spirits would be abroad. Tortoise said, you can't go home. If you go home now, the spirits will get you. And then she thought, what would be worse? Going out there in the dark and being caught by the spirit, or staying here until morning, then going to fetch water and go home. She had no choice but to wait. So she decided to wait until morning. She knew her parents would be in distress, but there was nothing she could do. She stayed there. Then she thought Tortoise did not do anything to her, and then she slept. She felt comfortable. She slept, waiting for the morning. But when she slept, Tortoise climbed into her uterus and stayed there, making her look pregnant. When she woke up in the morning, she did not see Tortoise. She looked around, she did not see Tortoise. She called for Tortoise. Then she looked at herself, she saw she was pregnant. And the tortoise talked from the inside out and said, you are now my wife, you are pregnant with me. The girl said, Wambe, pota. Mbe answered, Oni. Wambe, pota, tortoise answered, Oni. Wanda aponero. Ifechi mbe nyelo mbe. Otokata otomalia. Tom, 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 anikambe. He, 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 he. The girl kept singing. Tortoise refused to come out. But now she's pregnant. She can't go home because if she went home, it would be a calamity on her and her parents. She didn't know what to do. She had to stay in the forest, and she became the tortoise's wife. That's how the tortoise married Ugomma.